Hi everyone, I'm your host, Ella Glasgow, director and head voice coach at Sing Out Loud Studios, where I specialize in vocal performance. So, if you're looking for voice lessons, singing lessons, or performance lessons, Sing Out Loud Studios is the place to do it. You can find out more about the studio on the website at www.singoutloudstudios.com. Go ahead, check it out, and send me an info request if you'd like. But welcome to Undercover Vocalist, the interviews, views. It's not the best title, but it's the one we've got at the moment, and I think it conveys the theme of this series. That is, to bring some light to people in entertainment who you may not have necessarily heard of, but they're making a good living somewhere on the performance side of the entertainment and music biz. Our secondary goal is to provide some much needed information and musical encouragement of sorts for young people, parents, or anyone really looking to get into the business. Today's interview is one that I've kept in the vault for a few years, but I decided it is high time to let it out. I think it's a great one to kick off the new year. This is an interview with one of my students. I'm a little proud of this young one, Miss Molly Smith. She is now 14 years old and living it up in entertainment. And at the time of this recording, though, she was only 11 years old. But you would never guess because she speaks so well and with such poise. You'll not only hear me speaking with her, but with her mother, Lori Smith, as well. It takes a good team of people to help a determined kid pursue a dream. So parents and kids, if you're wondering how you can get your dream in entertainment started, then this is how you do it. A pen and paper might be good for this one. So without further ado.
Okay, so Molly, you were telling me about how tired you are. Rehearsing and going to school and doing all of the activities that you take part in at 11 years old. But your goal, obviously, what is your goal?
Well, my goal one day is to be on Broadway and then eventually move over to the pop side and do some other things like get signed with a record company and maybe have a song on the radio.
Very cool. Like, when did that dream start? How did you know that you wanted to do that?
When I was about 3, I wanted to enter my school's talent show. And I sang a little song. It was really funny, and I've been doing it ever since, and I just figured that I really loved it.
Yeah. So when you had this dream in your head and you saw people doing the things that you knew that you loved to do, how did you know what to do first? How did you know where to begin? Did you know that there was going to be a lot of work involved?
I didn't really, but I learned along the way that there's a lot more involved to it than you think. Mm-hmm. But if you put some effort towards it, you will eventually see things becoming easier, and then everything will just fall together and it will be better.
Yeah. What are some things that you've had to do to be a part of this business? Have you had to get any special training? Obviously you've gotten some special training because you're here with me.
Well, yes. But I've also taken some acting lessons, lots of dance lessons. I'm with an agent for modeling and acting in commercials. And all of that somehow will help me when I need it.
Yeah. How do you manage your time? How do you make sure that you do the homework that I've asked you to do the homework that your teachers at school have asked you to do, learn the choreography that your dance teachers are asking you to learn the monologues that your acting coach is asking you to learn? I'm sure it sounds really overwhelming as I'm actually saying it in front of you, like putting it all in one spot on plate right now. But how do you make sure that you keep it all together and maintain what you just told me? You said you have an A average in school.
Well, this has been one thing that I use a lot. Homework in the car.
Gotcha.
We have clipboards, homework in the car. That's always what we do. Whenever there's free time in the car, it's homework time.
Gotcha.
So I always do that. And whenever I can practice something, whenever I can do anything, like sometimes I'm doing vocal warm-ups as I'm doing my homework, and sometimes I am going over a monologue while we're shopping in Publix. And all this just multitasking.
People look at you like you're strange.
Yes,
in
a little
Publix.
bit sometimes.
It seems as though you have your eyes set on the prize, and you have decided if this is what it's going to take, you're just going to do whatever it takes to get to your goals. And that's pretty cool, especially since you're only 11. I don't know if I can say that enough. She's only 11 years old, but she's doing the work and maintaining a high GPA at the same time. So I also have Mom with me as well, so we can get the parents' point of view, because obviously, plug your ears, Molly, you don't know anything about this yet. But obviously, this is quite a financial undertaking to be in the entertainment industry. You have figured it out.
It is. It's a commitment you have to be willing to make. There's definitely ways you have to be smart about it and be very careful where you spend your money, but there are costs involved. I'm always upfront with people about that and say that although you never should pay an agent upfront,
Right.
there are other costs involved.
Yeah.
Headshots
Yes.
and lessons and coaching and all of those things are really important and help further the success you experience.
Right, right. How do you help her keep it together so that she can do this?
Well, I try to help keep her organized, just like having the clipboard with the sharpened pencils and the paper
Yeah.
and the erasers in the car so that, the minute I pick her up from school, she hops in the car, she gets that out, and she starts to work. We both keep written calendars, so we know when deadlines, when we have an audition, when we have a callback, when she's on hold for something, when we're booked out, so that we know if there's a big audition coming up in 8 weeks for a production she's interested in. I know I need to schedule those coaching sessions, have her music ready. So I try to handle the organization and administrative side on it so that she can focus on just doing her best.
Right. Gotcha. That's really cool. This is something that I have not actually asked you before, and I've just assumed that you are also working another job outside of being mom and being manager.
Well, I'm very lucky in that I do work part-time.
Okay.
And I'm able to work from home and sort of set my own hours.
That's cool.
And I will say that it would be very difficult if you have two working parents. Most of the children that we know that are actively working and auditioning in the business have either one parent who doesn't work, parents who have really flexible schedules, or they have extended family. Like I see lots of grandmas at auditions, aunts, uncles. We have a babysitter that we use that's been with us a long time. She knows the audition protocol. She's been here. Sometimes we divide and conquer because I have two children that work in the business. And so that's part of it too. And that's another one of those expenses that we incur. But having, I always say, have as much support as you have available to you or that you can afford.
Right. Very, very cool. Molly, we didn't ask, you mentioned kind of briefly, just for our listeners, whoever those listeners may be, tell me a bit about what you have done in the past, what you're up to now. You're always up to something. That sounds very mischievous, but you're always doing something, and which I think is great. What's on your plate at this moment in time, entertainment-wise?
Well, I am in the show Into the Woods. It's my high school play.
Okay.
Even though I'm not in high school.
Make that clear. She's just awesome enough to be in the high school play.
It was open to the whole school this year, so I auditioned, and opening night will be tomorrow. So
Very cool. Very
I
cool.
have
That's
that.
exciting.
And I am obviously taking vocal lessons, and right now I'm taking tumbling lessons.
Very cool.
And dance. But I have trouble getting there because I'm rehearsing. But other than that, that's all I can do right now because I have rehearsal every night.
Okay.
But in the spring, I'm thinking I'm going to audition for The Secret Garden.
Very cool. I have done The Secret Garden. I was Aya. Yes. Yes, that's a really, really fun musical and a lot of work for you. A lot of work for you if you were to be in the show, because I think there's only 2 children in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then all of that we have to juggle with season
right.
for commercials, and print work has also just kicked off officially
right.
September, and then it stays really busy October, November, about halfway through December. So on top of all that, we have to juggle all the auditions that we get from her agents.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they only make money when we're working, so
right.
they always want you to attend auditions. So we have to balance that against her theater commitments,
mm-hmm.
her lessons,
homework.
and homework and
right.
school. And of course, school is a big priority. And,
right.
and I will give her all the credit that she's a very, very dedicated student. And she's very highly motivated, very self-motivated. I wish I could say that I raised her to be motivated, and I would write a book about how you do that, how you motivate children,
yeah.
and then I wouldn't have to work at all.
Yeah.
But she's just very self-motivated because she is very ambitious.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to speak with an acting coach yesterday about another student, and just getting some other feedback from them about what they feel it takes to be in the business. And that's probably the number one thing that we've all said. It really takes an ambition on the student's part, on anybody's part, obviously, but when you're as young as you are, the only person that's going to make this work is the student. If they don't do the work, then nothing gets done.
I always hear, other parents will talk about stage parents, pushing your child. There's only so much you can do as
right.
a parent. They have to have the drive, because
right.
when you get to the audition,
that's the word.
We
drive.
just sit in the room.
Right.
It's up to them. They have to go in. They have to show their skills. They have to show their personality, and they have to sell themselves. And there is nothing as a parent you can do to help your child in the room except help prepare them, give them the right people to coach them and prepare them. And once you do that, it's really up to them. They have to want it. And if you don't like auditioning, if you don't like selling yourself, you will not be happy in the business. And you have to be driven to want that.
Right. Molly, I don't know if you can recall in your short entertainment career that is going and growing every day, how many times have you been turned down?
Oh, a lot.
I know it's laughable.
A lot.
But I know a lot of people don't know. That's why I have to ask the question. It's laughable. But
oh, many, 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 many times.
Yeah. Oh, phones are ringing.
Nice.
Many, many times. And that didn't discourage you? It didn't make you say, I don't want to do this anymore?
No, because when you go in, you do what you're supposed to do, you leave and you forget about it. You never think about it again, and then if they call you and they're like, hey, you just booked this, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I did. What was it? I just forgot.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
all, you just never remember it, and then if you don't get it, then it's okay, because you won't know. But if you really have your heart set on one job, then you'll never really try hard for any of the other ones, because there are many good jobs out there.
Right. That is something that I say all the time. I'm glad to hear you say that. There's work.
Yeah, and her acting coach always reminds her, work is work.
Right.
Any work is worthwhile. You're learning, you're experiencing a new character. If it's a supporting role, that's still important to the show. Sometimes that's good and humbling to have that supporting role. So work is work.
Yeah. Well, also, it could just be that your hair is not the right color, or you have blue eyes and the person they're looking for has brown eyes.
Right.
So, it's not always a matter of your skill level. Sometimes it's how you look, and you can't change anything about that.
Very well said. Very well said. I was about to ask you a question. Do you remember the first time that you got turned down? I don't know if you can remember. Can you remember the feeling that you had the first time you got turned down, and then the feeling that you had the first time you got a job?
Well, I can.
Aha!
Because the first casting I went to, I don't even remember what it was for.
Do you remember how old you were?
I was probably like 7.
Okay.
Maybe? Yeah, 7. So I went in. I didn't even know what I was doing. And so I just go in. I think this was like for Nikon camera or something, and my mom went in with me. So that was kind of funny. But she didn't know what she was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. So we just tried our best, and we got out. And, you never know about this stuff for weeks. Mm-hmm. And you never really get a call if you don't get it, so you kind of just assume you didn't get it.
Right.
But I was a little discouraged. But then I kind of figured out, well, there was like, who knows how many people auditioned for that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what they were looking for. I don't know anything about that. So I wasn't too sad about it, but then it took a long time before I got my first job.
Okay.
That was, I don't know, maybe a few months? Yeah, a few months. But see, my brother, he booked something before me, and I was kind of sad about that. But,
he is cute. He's a cute little kid.
Yeah. But I booked Walmart, and I was so excited. It
Very
was
cool.
really fun, too. And I learned a lot from it, and it was really cool once I actually booked it, and you feel rewarded for all the hard work you've done going to castings and things.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. I can't think of any other things to ask you all. Do you think you have anything else to say, or anything that you think that parents should know? Oh, I know. What would you say to parents? It's something we actually just talked about, but what would you say to parents that are afraid to have their children enter the entertainment industry for fear that they will be starving artists?
Well, I think initially when they're young, there are so many great things that come out of it. I don't know if my children will choose to stay involved in the entertainment world as adults. That's a decision they'll have to make. Mm-hmm. And, I hope that no matter what they do, they'll go to college, they'll pursue an education, and then as adults, if they choose to stay involved in the business, that's great. When they're young, I think that there are so many positive benefits, and what I love is that it teaches them a work ethic. Mm-hmm. They understand what work is. Teaches them professionalism, how to introduce themselves, how to work with a team of adults, to say thank you, I enjoyed working with you today. What it means to be a part of a team that's producing a product, meeting a deadline, producing an advertising campaign or a show if it's a theater. Mm-hmm. So it really teaches them so much self-confidence, and just makes them a little more worldly as children. And if you stay involved and look after them and make sure that they're always safe, and it's a positive experience, I think the rewards are really great. Yeah. And when they become adults, there are many careers that you choose that don't necessarily have financial rewards, but it has other life rewards. Right. And so I think that as adults, they'll have to cross that bridge one day and decide whether this industry is truly for them, or whether they want to be involved in the industry in some other way, as a stylist, a set designer, a composer, a conductor, a director, a producer. And there are so many different avenues to pursue.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you very much, Miss Molly and Miss Laura.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And now we're going to have a lesson.
Always sitting there, you're waiting for me. After I come in late, after 2 sips of tea. And now I'm tired from the last night, thinking about the past. I don't want to fight it no more.
That was some great stuff. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you heard something useful in what we talked about. One of the biggest points being that nobody can do it all on their own, and it takes commitment. But most of all, it can be done. You can learn more about today's special guest by checking out her social media sites. On SoundCloud, you can follow her at Mollywood Music. That's MOLLYWOOD Music. On Instagram, look for Fashionista.in.the.making. On YouTube, you can search for Fashionista.in.the.making and look for her cover photo of Mollywood Music. Or if you're listening to this with the video, you can click on the direct links in the comments below. Once again, I'm your host, Ella Glasgow, and I've had a great time with you today. Stay on the lookout for our next interview with an artist that has taken Orlando by storm, Shane Tomlinson, with his band, Frequency Band. He's a friend of mine, and he's got some really hard-hitting and encouraging stuff to say about being in the music industry. Until then, don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Sing Out Loud Studios Orlando. And of course, if you're looking for more voice and performance training, check out the website at www.singoutloudstudios.com. Keep singing.
Hold on to what we know.